Welcome to Malcolm Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcolm and Rochelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right podcast. I'm your host, Malcolm Reed, and today, Miss Southern Shell's not here. We've got another co-host, Mr. Mark Williams.
Can I not be lovely and beautiful too?
I ain't going into all that.
Come on now.
You're more smoky and
rough and probably got bags under my eyes this morning.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So, Mark, what's going on, man?
Man, I'm just filling in the cracks where I need to.
There you go. Well, yeah, hopefully Shell will be back next week. She's feeling a little down, but you know, she's been hard at it.
Yeah,
so.
hard-working lady.
That's
Can't
right.
keep Shell down.
Right. But we're still going to have our podcast. We've got a special guest coming that we're going to bring on here after a while via video, right, Tyler?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Mr. Nick Mangold, number 74 for the New York Jets. Nick was like a 7-time Pro Bowler, played like 13 seasons as a center for the Jets, and he's into barbecue, so we're going to see what that's all about later on.
Football and barbecue?
Hey, it goes
pretty
hand
solid,
in hand.
ain't it?
Yeah. But I mean, we're going to talk about our normal stuff first and foremost. Mark, I wanted to mention our Palmer Home fundraiser. We're going to do that every time we get a chance because it's for a good cause. So we've got this little campaign going where we're trying to raise $20,000 to feed one of the Palmer Home houses that they house 8 kids in, and so that's still up and running, and it's on the website. You can go there and donate. You can start your own little campaign, and we're having a contest to see who raises the most money. Mark, we're going to do a class. You're going to be part of that.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good time.
It is going to be fun. We're going to, I think it's like, what do we say, 5 people. They're going to each get to bring a guest, so it'll be a 10-person class only, and just cooking my favorite things to cook, which, we're going to do all the good stuff, and then who knows, we may go to La Siesta tomorrow.
Got to get to Tapatillas.
Malcolm Special.
That's right, the Malcolm Special and the margaritas.
We're at $6,364.
That's great. Hey, yeah, we're almost halfway to our goal, so that's
awesome.
Moving right along, yeah. I'm gonna, I did that mac rib sandwich this week, and that one, you actually came by.
I timed that just right on purpose.
You did. You came by and got to try that one. So, all right, Mark. I always say my stuff turns out good. What did you think?
That was legit one of the best barbecue bites I've ever had.
You started a diet that day, didn't you?
I broke it for about 10 minutes.
Does Emily know that you ate some mac ribs?
I think she smelt it on my breath when I got home. No, it was like, I do it too. When we're doing a YouTube video, I always say, man, that's good. And we're honest about it. Most of the time, everything is pretty good,
Yeah.
But that was epic. That was its own league of its own. I mean, just... That was a good bite.
McDonald's don't compare, does
No.
it? That's what I said. I've had that idea for a while, and I've seen other people do them. But, at McDonald's, they use like a processed pork patty, and I guarantee it never hits a smoke or grill. They warm it up.
If they'd have that sandwich, they'd have real golden arches.
Oh, yeah, they really would.
Heck yeah.
They'd have a whole other line of food, wouldn't they? But I took a slab of Compart baby backs and just ran them through the rib process. Seasoned them, wrapped them up. They got tender. The one thing I think helped get those bones out was I scored it a little bit beside each bone. And so when I cooked those ribs, and I didn't probe them, but I just kind of did the bend test. When I felt like they were tender, like I was going to eat them, I just took them out and popped those bones right out. And then surprisingly, they held together pretty well. I mean, I've done it a couple times, just kind of testing out that recipe. I've never had a slab break on me yet, but I think as long as you don't get too aggressive on the front side trimming, and you pull the membrane and make that slit, those bones pop out. So it all really holds itself together.
I was impressed how well it looked presented on the board before you cut it. I mean, it was the most beautiful slab of ribs you can imagine. And you'd think it looked weird with no bones, but if you didn't know there was no bones, you would have glanced at it and never known.
And just thought it was a rack of ribs laying there.
That's what we need to do. Like next time we have a get together, just do like 5 slabs like that.
And have all the bones
and just
out.
Start pulling them. And they're like, man, where's the bones? It's
boneless rib.
Boneless hog.
That's right, boneless hog. But that sandwich, I mean, I kept it simple. Loaf of French bread, drizzled some of my special sauce on it, that 50-50 blend. You can't hardly beat that. No. And then thin onions and pickles like McDonald's does. Put the ribs on there, smothered it in more sauce, and cut it up. You couldn't eat that whole sandwich.
No.
You've
done good to eat like one portion.
Yeah,
like
I cut it in 4s, and that's what we ate. I think Michael got one, Shell got one, I got one, you got one.
No, don't say I got one.
I
got a half.
You just try to bite.
Yeah,
that's right. You just try to bite.
Just bite.
That's right. But I mean, still, you think of it, you're eating at least 2 or 3 ribs worth of meat.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good portion,
And I think I would love to take that and do like another twist on it because people don't realize how good a pickle and onion goes on
with
good barbecue.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
There's so much more you could do with that, not a sandwich.
That's right.
Like what else could you do that would be just them pickle and onion made it though.
You need to do one on yours and do the beef rib with the big O sandwich. Like that'd be awesome.
That'd be a hoss.
Oh, dude, what kind of bread? If you could use like a muffaletta roll that they do because it's kind of that shape.
Break your jaw trying to eat it.
You'd have to cut it up like a muffaletta kind of.
It'd be good. Like I guess you could do them boneless short ribs would be a good.
I think the whole
the
plate,
whole
and then pull those. You can slide those bones right out.
That thing.
Oh, dude, it'd be awesome. It would be awesome.
I wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah, if you don't do it, I'm probably going to do it.
Gotta watch what I
That's something
say.
we work on together.
Yeah.
We'll have to do a collab on that.
That'd be
You need
a
to
good
get
one.
some buddies to eat that one with you.
If you can finish one portion,
Yeah, one rib worth. Because you couldn't really do it. I guess if you cut the rack individually, I have seen somebody do that on TikTok. Sorry about that, Tyler.
Tic Tac Tyler.
But have you seen them where they'll take a one bone section of a beef rib and then put it like on a roll, and then they'll take the bone and kind of hold the bread, and then they'll slide it out.
That sounds.
It does look good. They did it. I think when I saw it, it was like they'd turned the short rib into pastrami, and so they had done it like it was like a Reuben, like a beef rib Reuben. So that
The only
that'd
one
be good.
I seen that I really thought would be like I want to try. They done the same thing. They done whole beef ribs, big ones, cut it into single bones, and then he actually laid it in a soft taco shell, slid it out, and then where the bone went, all of his fillings went where that bone was. So it was like pico and jalapenos, and they rolled it up.
Dude, it
looks so good.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. Anytime we can do something like that, let's do it.
That's right. So what have you been up to, Mark? I know you've been doing some videos and
Trying to get back in swing. We've done the bacon wrap donut video, which got a lot of love, but there was a lot of people upset about that.
Why?
They said it wasn't supposed to go together. It's them vegans. They're mad.
Bacon and donuts?
I mean,
have you ever had a maple glazed donut?
Yeah.
Emily
like
makes
you can
them.
go to the donut shop in town and get bacon on top of the donut.
Yeah.
Like it's not out of this world crazy.
It's breakfast food.
Yeah.
I think that goes perfect together.
But
I didn't get to try them.
They were good. They were real good. It was so we done the ones up here at the shop, and they were really good. But I kind of done a little bit, like changed it up a little bit because I learned from that one. Like so that we done the pre-cooked microwave bacon.
Yeah.
And I love doing that for like stuff you're gonna wrap in bacon because it's already cooked, so you don't have to overcook what you wrap. So like we're doing bacon wrapped deer meat, I do that because I'm not worried about trying to get that bacon crispy. It's done. You nail the perfect doneness on the deer meat, and it turns out phenomenal.
Right.
And with the donut hole, I really don't know what a donut would do if you left it on the pit at 250 for 2 hours. So we done the microwave pre-cooked bacon, wrapped it up, drizzled it with a little bit of caramel sauce, hit it with the barbecue rub, and they were excellent. This time, I still got microwave bacon, but I got the kind that you cook. And I popped it in the microwave.
Is it pre-cooked a little?
No, it's beautiful bacon. Like it's better look like that bacon when I opened the box because I was like, this ain't gonna work. Because we done click list, we got the wrong bacon. That's the only reason it worked out this way.
It was accident.
Yeah, it was accident. So I was like, man, this ain't gonna work. So we popped it in the microwave for like 2 minutes, and it got good and greasy and fatty. Wrapped it up, and within 30 minutes on the pit, it was perfectly cooked bacon. And we done the same thing: drizzled the caramel sauce, hit it with a little bit of barbecue rub, and it's so good.
It's decadent.
It's the bacon that way is so tender, like it just melts. Like it melts instantly. And as soon as you put it in your mouth and bite down on it, man, it's a good one bite. Now I don't want to eat a dozen of them, but for one or two, it's the perfect bite.
Yeah, I got to try those. I didn't get to, but I was like, man.
Tyler, come up here. You was on the way to try them, and
did you not make it either? They were gone. Before
No,
you got here?
man. I came up here. He posted like 45 minutes ago, and I was like, "Hey, man, I need some donuts." He was like, "Man, they're gone. We were busy."
he pulled up like coming in hot, like didn't go in the park spot. He pulled up to the tent outside the doors, like, "You got any bacon wrapped donuts?" I'm like, "They're out, man."
So have you seen the when people do the onion rings where they'll do the bacon? Mm-hmm. What if you took a whole Krispy Kreme glazed donut and did that with it? Would that work?
It'd kill you.
It'd
work.
I'm doing it. I mean, you think it would work? It'd do the exact same? Yeah. You just wrap pieces of bacon.
I would do the same. The microwave bacon, like to me, like people.
It's pliable enough.
Oh, it's like
around.
real bacon. Like it's nothing fake about it. Everybody's like, that ain't real bacon. It is. It's just, I guess it's somewhat cooked. But like what I got was raw. It said microwave ready bacon.
Yeah,
and it was really, really just real symmetrical. Like every bacon slice looked perfect. And man, you pop it in for a minute, 2 minutes, and it gets it to where it's cooked, but it ain't color. It don't have any color.
It looks kind of white.
Yeah, you wrap it up, Works out.
And then it browns up once you throw it on the grill.
Yep.
So I did that with those bacon wrapped pickles, but I use just thin bacon, and so it takes them a lot longer to cook. You know, you're going to need at least 30 minutes to get that bacon somewhat, brown.
Now, I do regular bacon on the pickles just because I want that bacon grease in that pickle.
Oh, it's so good. What'd you think about those, Tyler? We did that on TikTok. We hadn't released it yet.
I ate way too many of them.
bacon wrap Clausen pickles with the homemade ranch.
Man, now hold on.
Good.
We're going back to the McRib. You need to do the bacon wrap pickle with a thin slice of onion on the pickle, wrap it in bacon, and glaze it.
Oh, make that bite and make it like an appetizer. I bet that would be good.
Because you get all the good ingredients of that McRib, but the bread.
Would you put those on the bread?
No. I'm saying take your regular pickles like we done.
Yeah.
Put you a piece of onion on it, wrap it in bacon.
Right.
Put your rub on it, cook it till it's done.
There you go.
Dip it in sauce, the 50-50 mix, put it back on, glaze it, and then you got a glazed bacon wrap pickle with the onion.
That's taking it to another level.
Keto friendly.
It is. It would. I guess it would be.
Well, I mean, you got
the sauce.
you got your pork.
The sauce wouldn't be.
Thin sliced onion, pickles.
Yeah. You can do that. Definitely
do it on a kebab. Do a whole kebab of bacon and pickles.
So you also did those big monster pork chops.
I did. I got to finish that video this morning. Should go live here in a couple hours. That was back first part of the year, I guess. I ordered a bone-in pork loin from the butcher shop, and little did I know, I got literally the whole backbone. So I mean, had the tenderloin side on it, had the big pork loin side. And then you just
split the spine, basically.
Yeah, I mean it was all intact. Like you would have to have a butcher cut it. So that's what we did. So I carried it, had it cut to like 2-inch thick.
You had it cut, or you?
No, we cut it. We had it with your saw. I cut it, but I told everybody in the video, hey, make sure to reach out. Not everybody's gonna have a meat saw.
That's right.
So hey, reach out to your butcher, tell him you want these cut.
Yeah,
you can get a thick cut pork chop.
That's right.
And we cut them down, and it was like
2 bones, or
it was yeah, it would be 2, maybe 2.5 bone. Some of them I couldn't tell, so I split.
Super thick.
Oh, it was 2 of them. So I carried the leftovers to Daddy, and it was in a stack of aluminum foil like this. And he's like, "Dang, how many pork chops is that?" I was like, 2.
So it's a half a pork loin.
Him and my grandmother ate 1 pork chop. But no, I love a pork chop, and I love a big.
You can't beat it.
Yeah,
so
I love a big
porterhouse chops, though, because you had the tenderloin and the loin.
It was a T-bone, just like a T-bone, and man, it was good. So we just hit them with a little bit of spicy sausage seasoning. Got some heat and got some savory notes on it, and then come back with a little barbecue rub. Cooked them about 135, 140, glazed them, let them carry over to 145, pulled them off, and they were good. And I left all the fat cap on it, so you had that good crispy fat.
How long did they cook?
About 2 hours.
Oh, so that's a pretty good cook.
Yeah. I ran it about 250, 275, on the stick burner, got some good smoke on them, and right at the end, I bumped the heat up to where it kind of caramelized that fat a little bit better. And Emily, I liked it. It was a really good chop. Emily loved it. She set the camera down. She's like, I want to try it. I got her bite. She sat there and ate the whole tenderloin side on one.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's one of the best chops I've ever had. But I mean, with the thicker chop, you got so much more room for error.
Oh yeah, you're gonna dry.
If you dry one of them out, you've done something. And man, it was just packed full of moisture, and it's perfect medium. Medium rare.
That's where people go wrong with chops. They want to overcook them. I mean, if you take them over 145, you're done.
Yeah. If it breaks 150.
I like cooking about 135 to 140 and letting them carry over to where they're right there at that 145 mark, and then they're perfect.
So when we
still got plenty of juice in them.
When we cooked the World Championship in Fort Worth that year, and they done the pork chop, Emily won it.
That's right.
We pulled all them chops off 135, and I got third, and she got first. And I think a lot of it, people are still trying to take it to 165.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you want to, go for it. But I'm gonna tell you that 140 is so much better.
Yeah, I think so too. So talking about stick burners, we've been doing a lot of Memphis and May practicing.
A ton.
I talked about it some on the podcast already, but how many ribs? We've got to where we're cooking a case at a time. So it's about 18
in a case.
racks on Big Hoss.
This weekend will be the third practice with 18.
With 18?
Yeah. And I've cooked probably 10 practices with 6 and 9, half cases and split cases up. And
I think we about got it down. So what's your big takeaway from doing all the practice? I mean, people say, why are y'all cooking so many ribs? Getting ready for Memphis. For one, it's the World Championship. We want to do the best we can, but we're actually learning and honing in that pit.
I've learned more So Swine Life doesn't compete near as much as they used to. 2015, 2016, 17, we were out every weekend just like. I've learned more in the last 3 weeks than I learned in all those years competing, hands down.
Cooking ribs.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is, my biggest thing is I want zero guesswork morning of. When we're on the river, I want it to be perfect. I don't want, if we get beat, we get beat. That's fine. But I don't want it to be because of us or me or nothing else. I want to know for a fact what that recipe is going to do.
Yeah.
But texture. I mean, each time we've cooked, we started out with a pretty good texture. The last time we cooked it, we had a really good texture.
We've learned it's from being consistent, knowing how to run that pit, where to keep those temps, when to bump it up when we're going in the pit, when to let it roll when we get them wrapped. That's the biggest thing to me. Even probing. I've never in my life, in my whole cooking career, put a probe in a slab of ribs and watch what it done. I've always said the ribs are so thin it don't matter. We're going to get them there.
You can watch them.
As we started doing
just
that
like
and dialing them in, even from the point to where we first put them on the grill, when we wrap them, we've been working on the temperatures and, different I would say brands of ribs cook a little bit different. And that's what we've noticed. A lot of it has to do with the thickness, with the fat content of when they're letting go of that moisture and start breaking down. But once we get them wrapped and we have those probes in them, most of them dial out within about the same amount of time, and they hit that even plateau where they all catch up, and then they creep up, and then that's kind of where, I'm not going to tell everybody where we've started stopping them, but for what's working for us has been, it's been pretty daggum solid.
Yeah, and it's
the
been
flavor
consistent.
part. To me, the flavor part's the easy part on cooking ribs.
Yeah,
because everybody has
as long as you got salt, sweet, spice, it's appetizing.
That's right, and it's nothing just outshines the other to me. But that texture is the most important thing.
And to me, and I mean, you especially see it like in steak contest stuff. Texture affects flavor.
Oh yeah,
hands down. I mean, that's.
Well, if your texture's off, you're gonna say, well, you're not.
You're already downplaying it.
Oh, that's in your mind. I think it's natural. I mean, you may say you don't. Oh, I'm gonna give that a great score because it tastes really good. It's just tough.
But like eating a brick, you're not.
No, it'd be natural to score it down. So I think you had to nail them all at the World Championship. But that's been the biggest thing for me. And Jay coming down and visiting with us,
learn from that.
Pit. Man, so Outlaw Smokers.
Jay Craig, Outlaw.
Yeah, he's the inventor, the pit builder of them. I mean, you talk about a pit master. He knows how to run those pits.
I take a lot of pride in running them pits. Like, when we first started cooking on stick burners, that was my goal, was to learn what it does. And I consider myself pretty good at it. Now, Jay Craig, he can run a pit.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's what he told me. We got up that morning, and we done a practice Friday. So he got here on Thursday. We tried to kill him with food on Thursday night. Just whooped him down with some good stuff.
Did you cook or did you go out?
No, we cooked at the house. We cooked. Well, we'll get to that. I'm sorry. So, anyways, got up Friday and fired the pit up 7 o'clock, run through a full rib practice. We cooked 9 slabs in. And we had a really good rib, and Jay wanted to watch me run the pit. And because he wanted to kind of see how we run it, what we're doing.
What we want to do.
Yeah. How we're trying to get our smoke and everything like that. And then Sunday, he's like, what's my job going to be? And I said, you run the pit and nobody else touches it. You do you. He said, okay, I can do that. And he did. I mean, I told him, I said, give me 250. He got it. Give me this. He got it. Give me a little smoke. It was there. Yeah. And
there was no fluctuation.
No.
The pit just stayed right where we wanted.
So we wrapped 18 slabs of ribs. And, rib wrapping is not a quick process.
Yeah.
That pit never moved off 275. The whole time, it never fluctuated, never dropped. I mean, the pit stayed there. And I think that was a lot of it right there.
I was impressed by that. One thing I was learning was he brought different size splits to put on at different times to really control it. When he was watching, I mean, he stayed with that pit to know what it did. He didn't leave it. And then he would say, okay, we need one that's, needs to be 2 inches wide this time, or we just got a piece of one now that it's all it needs to keep it going. But the fire was consistent the whole time.
So I mean,
and he wasn't fighting it. It was just doing what he knew what to do at the right time too.
No, it was perfect. And I told him, come Memphis in May, you do exactly that.
Because he's going to come back with us and hang out with us.
He said he's bringing a director chair and he's sitting right there at that pit and he ain't moving. I said, that's what I need.
That's what we need. Yeah.
But
no, he had a good visit. I enjoyed it. That's the first time I ever met him in person. I talked to him on the phone a few times, but that was a great practice weekend.
Yeah, it was.
So I got some more in us before load in.
I got picking up a case this afternoon. We'll do a practice again Saturday. And then
I've got comp parts to practice with. We've got, I think we compare them to just some other brands we've tried. you know, it's gonna be tough to figure out which one we want to pick because we've had some good ribs.
Yeah, we've had
comp parts are, you know, since I started back cooking them, man, that's what I did that McRib with. And
it was good.
The texture, the flavor, the fat that's in them, man, it's good.
So
McRib.
We'll have a practice Saturday, and then we have that local contest next week, which I'm gonna cook it.
That.
Yeah, I'm gonna cook it just like Memphis and May. I'm gonna cook 18 slabs for that.
Are
one.
you?
To turn in one box, I'm cooking 18 slabs.
I'm not gonna cook that many,
so,
but I am gonna cook. I'm gonna take Miss Fancy up there. Cook
I gotta get her clean.
Contest first time.
So I'll probably roll it out this afternoon if the weather's nice. Rinse it off, get it clean, put a fire in it,
season it a little.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, so Tyler, we're about ready to bring Nick on.
Yeah, he's about to get in the Zoom call right now.
All right. Well, hey, when we come back, hopefully we will have Mr. Nick Mangold live in action. Hey, so we've got Mr. Nick Mangold here with us today live. This is our second time having a video guest on, and I just want to introduce Nick real quick. Nick, you were a 7-time Pro Bowl center for the New York Jets. You played in the NFL for 13 years, and now you're doing 74 barbecue. Man, how's it going?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No, we were excited. You know, every day we get to talk to some NFL players. So, you know, especially to find out you were into barbecue. You've got a line of sauces, I think, in the works now. So we just wanted to kind of get to know you a little bit and talk some barbecue. That's kind of what we do here on the HowtoBBQRight Podcast.
Yeah, and I love it, too. I caught some of the episodes before I got on here. I got to tell you, your Malcolm's ribs, the ones that you love to do for your own self. Oh, those things looked amazing. You killed me. Like, all I wanted was ribs yesterday, and it just destroyed me.
Hey, man, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So for the folks that don't know you, you know, give us a little of your story, how you got into barbecue, man.
Yeah, so it was kind of just a funny happenstance. You know, my wife had bought me a big green egg for, I think, my first or second Father's Day. So this was about 10 years ago. And then I dabbled with it, but I never really knew what to do with it. And then while I was playing with the Jets, we had an offensive line coach, an assistant offensive line coach who was a certified barbecue judge out of Montana. And he kind of held my hand and showed me, you know, how to do things, how to do a full brisket, and pulled pork and the whole lot. And, you know, it was kind of one of those things where I've always enjoyed barbecue, but once I learned how to do it, it just exploded for me. My love for it just exploded. And after a while, I was buying sauce and everything, and I got kind of handy in the kitchen. And I was like, you know what? I bet I can make a pretty good sauce. So I started working on a recipe probably 5 years ago. Finally got it to where I wanted, and I loved it. And it was one of those things where it was kind of neat to be able to share that with someone. It's always fun to be able to cook for someone, and for it to be delicious makes it even better. And about 2 years ago, I was retired from football and trying to figure out what I want to do with myself with my 4 kids running around like crazy. Knew I had to come up with something. And, you know, it was one of those things where we were like, well, what do you love? And I was like, I love barbecue. Like, all right, well, let's do something. He's like, and I was like, you know, I have a sauce. And like, oh, that's great. Let's see if other people like it. If they like it enough, you know, let's see if we can get someone to make it and bottle it and start selling it. And so that's what we did. And we've been open for about a year now. It's been a little tricky navigating the pandemic while you're trying to, sample sauce to people because no one wants to take food from somebody just standing outside a store right now. But it's been cool. It's been a neat experience. And the barbecue community is such a fun community where everyone gets together, you know, and share their love of food and people. And, it's been awesome.
Yeah, man. Barbecue and football just seem to go together. So I love that approach of it, man. You know, we do a lot of tailgating and, you know, a lot of friends coming over and watching the game, cooking for our fantasy teams and all that. And then, you know, in the South, football's life here too. So it incorporates well. What style would you say that's your favorite style of barbecue? You know, here we're in the Memphis region, so we're about, I guess, 15 miles from Memphis, so that's heavily influenced us here. But do you have a favorite style? I know, are you still living in Jersey, I guess?
Yeah, I'm still here in Jersey. I was born and raised in Ohio, and it's kind of given me a unique perspective that I really don't have. I don't tend to go towards one style. I love them all, and not being close enough to any true barbecue area kind of allowed me to just navigate and see all of them. And so it's been a lot of fun. And it was a shame too, because last year, as we were getting going on the barbecue sauce, I had this big plan. It was back in January last year. I was going to do a whole barbecue tour where I was going to, hit all the big spots and make a spring of it. And then obviously the pandemic hit, and so that hasn't happened yet. But as soon as I can, I really look forward to traveling around, because, with football, you get to travel and you get to see the different cities. You get to smell all those tailgates as you're coming into different stadiums, but not really being able to experience it because you're there for such a short time. I needed to do it on my own terms. And so hopefully I'll be able to get down and get around and really dive into some of the amazing spots that I just haven't been able to hit yet.
Man, I tell you what, if you ever get down here to the Memphis area, man, me and Mark can show you some of our favorite places, give you a taste of what the style's like.
Any good food, I'm down for.
I'll definitely hit you up. No worries.
So, going back to your sauces, I know you've developed two on the market right now. Do you want to tell us kind of a little bit about each one of them and what kind of flavors you have going on?
Yeah, sure. So when this started out, it was, what do you want to do? And, I wanted to do something with barbecue. And then, when we got to the sauce side, I wanted a passion project to be something that really meant something to me. And the two aspects that really keep me going in this whole business, other than the love of barbecue and everything, is that I want to have a sauce for each of my kids. And so I have 4 kids right now. I have 2 sauces out, so I have 2 more to go. So I'm trying to sell as much sauce as I can to be able to put out the next 2. And then a charity component, and that we donate a portion of the proceeds of each bottle sold to Answer the Call charity. It's up here in New York City, that benefits the families of fallen first responders. And so it's a great charity I've been involved with for a long time. And now, I get to give a little bit of money back each time I sell a bottle of sauce. So those are the 2 things that really drive me to keep going with the sauce stuff. And so the first one, my 2 sauces right now are the OG and the spicy. The OG is named, obviously it's the original. It's the first one I ever came up with, and it coincides with my first son. He's my original child. He's my firstborn. And so, it just kind of went hand in hand. And then the second sauce is the spicy, and it's basically just the OG sauce, but we ramped up the heat. And, that was kind of for my second son, who's my third born. He is very much like my firstborn, the OG, but he is a firecracker. So he's the spicy one. And so those are the first 2 we came up with. I have 2 daughters that I have sauces pretty much waiting in the wings. I have the recipes done. I just need to be able to get distribution and everything going before I am able to put them to production. So I'm really excited about that. And it's kind of, I was talking to somebody, one of my friends down in Houston, and he was asking me, he's like, all right, well, what kind of style is your sauce? Where do you think it most closely relates to? And I was sitting there and I was like, well, here's the thing. I stole from every other recipe, I could, and threw them all together and combined it. And so it's a very unique taste. It definitely it's a barbecue taste, and it's barbecue. You'll never question it for ketchup or anything. But it's its own unique taste. And I said, so I'm going to call it New Jersey style. He looked dead at me and said, don't you ever say that you have New Jersey style BBQ, because no one from Texas is ever going to buy anything like that. I was like, ooh, okay, sorry.
I agree.
Good call.
Yeah, so it's its own unique flavor. I blended a bunch of stuff together, and I think it's the best sauce that's out there, personally.
So when you started making your sauce, did you just start in the kitchen at your house, or did you work with somebody that was already doing them, or how'd you come up with those sauces?
I was working. I was just doing it in my kitchen. I was researching online, finding. The first one was like, all right, barbecue sauce recipe, and that's the first one I looked at. And then I kept going down the line. I was like, all right, well, what's a Carolina sauce recipe? And then just kept going down the line and kept finding things. And finally, one that the offensive line coach that really got me into barbecue, he always leans back to Myron Mixon. And so I was looking at some of his sauce recipes, and So it was just taking, little pieces from each one and kind of combining them together to make my own.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know, for us, when we started developing sauces, that was one thing that was, it just seemed like it took forever because we knew we had a good sauce, but then when you go translating it into mass producing it, that's the difficult part to me. So a lot of times, I'd say it takes a year to bring one to actually get it to market, or what I call being able to for retail sale, just because, I can throw a sauce together that tastes great in my kitchen, but once I, try to pass that recipe on and we sign off on them trying to make it and scale it to where they can make, hundreds of gallons of it, it changes. So that's the challenge it has been for me with the two sauces that I have.
Oh, it's a crazy challenge. That's the thing that I learned, not really the hard way, kind of the hard way, is how much goes into a bottle of sauce. You walk through the grocery store and you go down the condiment aisle and you see all the barbecue sauces that are sitting there. You look at all the different bottles and everything, and the amount of time and effort that goes into each individual bottle that's being sold there, between the bottle shape, the label design, logo design, the nutritional information, the ingredient list. Like it's crazy just for the bottle. But then you're right, on the sauce side itself, being able to scale it up. That's where we hit the first manufacturer that we had did a heck of a job. And it took us from when we started to get production, we were just a little under a year where we were ready to go to shelves. But now, we've been very fortunate that we've kind of, ramped up in sales and everything. So we had to find a new manufacturer because the old one wasn't able to keep up with us. And so it's like we're starting all over, and trying to, get that, make sure, they have the recipes, but making sure that they taste right as they scale them up, is a shocking thing, because it seems like it'd be so easy. Well, you just multiply everything by 5 and bam, you got yourself a big batch, but it doesn't seem to work that way.
Never does.
Yeah, it never does. That was my big thing, is it made sense. Like if I'm putting so much, brown sugar in something, that I ought to be able to just multiply. Well, it don't work like that. I mean, those flavors do something different when you go to mass scaling them.
I made that
That's
mistake.
crazy.
So when me and my wife got married, we were going to give, like, as wedding gifts, like little jars of sauce. And we made it for, 2 or 3 gallons. We never made it for like 10 gallons. So we made it, pulled it all out. My brother helped me make it. Actually, Jamie made 90% of it, but got done, and he brought it to me, and he hadn't tasted it. I tasted it. I said, Jamie, this ain't even close. Like, he's like, I followed the recipe to the T. I'm like, you may have, but it ain't right.
Yeah, it just don't scale.
Go back to scratch.
Yeah. No, what I ended up doing was making multiple small batches.
Yeah.
That's what you had to do.
That's what you had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once you get it right with them, that's the great thing about when they get it scaled, because it always comes out the same. So you don't have to worry about changes, unless the only thing I've seen is where maybe a co-packer runs out of one ingredient, or they try to source something cheaper and slip it in on you. So you always got to do quality control on those batches to make sure they're using the same ingredients.
Yeah, and that's not a problem. I love doing the quality control test, and that was one joke that we were making as we were getting started out, and things were going real slow there, because our first line of production rolled off March 22nd of 2020. So, right at the beginning of the pandemic. And so it was slow rolling, and we were making a joke like, well, if we don't sell these things, it was fun that we tried and everything. It was like, yeah, if we don't sell these things, at least I have barbecue sauce now for like the next 3 years. I don't have to keep making it. So it was, but fortunately, things got rolling, and we're doing all right. I'd love to do better. And as soon as we can, because you can't do any tailgates. And that was the big thing that we were planning with this sauce, is that I was going to be able to incorporate my love of barbecue and my love of football, bring them together, and have a lot of fun with it. And then not being able to be with anybody really slowed things down. So I'm hoping this football season, we're ready to go. We're ramped up. Hopefully we'll be able to get out and get people together. And that way we can start slinging some sauce all over different tailgates and travel around the country.
So do you still do some work with the Jets organization now that you're retired from the field, or?
Yeah, I do. I think I'm technically an ambassador. So basically, it keeps me around the team, which is nice. And, I get to do different events, different publicity stuff, PR, work with season ticket holders, suite holders. And so, it's nice to be able to kind of stick around. They let me come back a little bit. And it's funny. When we moved, because the Jets used to be on Long Island and they moved over to New Jersey in 2008. So when we moved over to New Jersey, we were still planning on going back to Ohio when everything was said and done. But then as we stayed here longer and longer and roots got deeper and deeper, we got stuck here. And so now, I'm like 5 minutes away from the practice facility for the Jets. And so I think every once in a while they get kind of tired of me. Like, Nick, you need to go do something else. Get out of here and leave us alone.
Was that a hard transition, not lacing them up anymore when you finally decided to hang them up?
It was a little bit, mainly because, I finished on an injury, which wasn't really the way I had envisioned calling it quits. But, at the time I had 3 kids at home, and I was spending a bunch of time with them as I was rehabbing my injury. And after a while, it just kind of became a point where it was like, you know what, I'm enjoying my time with my kids. And I'm starting to wake up in the mornings and after not banging into somebody for 2 hours, my body is actually feeling pretty good. And so, it was a little tricky at first, but then, as time went on, it was fine with it. I still love the game of football. But I sure do like waking up and not feeling like crap every morning after going through a car wreck every day.
Yeah, I imagine firing up that barbecue pit's but much easier than going out there and busting heads.
Exactly, much easier.
So are you thinking barbecue's the full-time gig now, or do you have something else going on in your life that you're doing as a career?
No, I'm hoping barbecue is. It's been I've been able to do a bunch of food. Like at least barbecue and food seem to be what I like. It's been like I said, I got pretty good in the kitchen, helping out around the house. When my first son was born, I was looking for a way to help out, and I didn't really want to do any cleaning, so I figured I'd help out cooking, and just kind of fell in love with it. It was very football is very regimented, and all right, you need to go this way at this time and put your feet here, put your hands here, and do everything by the books, where cooking is much more, all right, a little dab of this, a little dab of that, and let's see if it tastes good. If it doesn't, try again. And so I really found the creative side of food exciting. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I think barbecue is the best type of food, and it's a lot of fun. And I think, not only is the food tasty and delicious, but it's also kind of what barbecue has behind it, where it's the process, how long it takes, the fact that it's a community based with friends and family. Anytime you do barbecue, you're not doing it small. So you got to have a lot of people over to enjoy it. And that's something that appeals to me, being able to share, whatever you smoke that day, with a bunch of people and have a good time. It's something that I think is a special style of cooking.
That's always what I've said that I love about it too. It's that communal aspect of it where, you're spending all this time working on something, but then you're sharing it with people. And whether it's friends, family, the community, that's what makes barbecue great, is that everybody comes together. And usually, the attitudes get hung up when you're at a barbecue. You don't have too much trouble. Everybody's friendly, loving it, eating some good food.
Unless the barbecue sucks.
Yeah, unless it sucks, I guess. So do you have what's your favorite thing that you like to throw on the pit? Do you have something that you do really well that's your go-to?
So my go-to has been a great pork butt. I can do them all, but I think I do the pork butt the best. It's kind of like, I don't know, for some reason it's the one that I think I do the best, but I also love. When you get the pork butt, I'm a big fan of injecting. So injecting it the night before. Going through the whole process of the rub, of the smoke. And then, when you're able just to pull that bone and it just slips right out, and then everything just kind of falls apart and has that juiciness, the flavor of it, that smoky flavor. And it's so versatile too. That's what I also like about it when sharing it, because I see people, they'll eat just the pulled pork. They'll eat it as a slider. if you have leftovers, now you have like do a nice little pulled pork fried rice. There's so much you can do with it, and so I think pulled pork is definitely my go-to.
Yeah, I'd like to see those number 74 barbecue nachos. I bet you could throw down on some of those. That sounds like some good tailgate stadium food.
And that's the crazy part about where I played at Ohio State University for 4 years, and then NFL for 11 years. So for 15 years of my life, I was always around football, and football also is tailgating. They go hand in hand. I didn't go to my first tailgate until I was retired, which kind of like every time I said that to somebody, they're like, "Well, you didn't go to any of them?" I was like, "Well, no, I was working, so never got a chance to." And now that I'm able to, because you go to the stadium and you smell as you're driving into the stadium, you get all those smells and you see people tailgating. It looks like a great time. But now to actually be able to do it, it kind of is like, for me, I was like, I don't know, maybe I like the tailgate a little bit more than I like the actual, going to the game, because there's so many different varieties. You walk around, especially, when you're at a big NFL stadium or a big college stadium, and you have so many different tailgates going on. They all have something new and unique to them, which is really cool and fun to check out.
Man, yeah, that's I went to school at Ole Miss, so we're the ultimate tailgaters there in the Grove. So I don't know if you ever got a chance to come down there and play them, but man, that's something. And you're right, you see a little bit of everything going on. I mean, you've got people barbecuing. You may have them. If LSU comes to town, you get all that Cajun food, and that's something I always loved, going to tailgates.
To me, like a tailgate, especially like at Oxford, like every booth is like its own recipe. So you could walk around a tailgate and it's walking through a cookbook. I mean, everybody brings like a lot of their family recipes to a tailgate, and that's where we get a lot of inspiration from when we used to go.
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah, and what I find cool too is like when you're able to go, people that kind of do their tailgate corresponding with the away team. So like, up here in New York, whenever the Jets are playing the Buffalo, like all of a sudden everything you have, but your buffalo chicken wings. You got. I ran into one guy. He had a portable pizza maker, gas fired pizza oven, and so he was doing buffalo chicken pizza. And so I think that's pretty cool. Like when people theme it up for the away team, and it adds that little different dynamic of, well, I would have never expected to get buffalo chicken pizza at a barbecue, or at a tailgate, because you don't expect it.
Yeah, hey, if you've never thrown any of that pulled pork on a pizza, man, you're missing out. You got to try that.
Well, that's a good idea. Ooh, I haven't done that yet. I've used it in everything else. Like a good pulled pork hash in the morning too. Can't beat it.
That's right. So besides the big green egg, do you have any other pits on the back porch where you're doing your cooking?
No, I got, we have an outdoor pizza oven, which is a lot of fun. And I have a regular old gas Weber. And then my big green egg. I'm really trying to get my wife to let me put in a big side box smoker. I borrowed one once and used it, and it was an amazing experience. And it's such a different way to go about it than the big green egg. And it was a lot of fun. But for the time being, my wife says I have too many toys as it is, and that it may be down the line. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, we get that too.
You just sneak them in. Nobody looks.
That's right. Stick them in, give them a nice gift. And
throw some dust on it. That's been there forever. I got that last year.
You didn't know this was back here? It's been here this whole time.
No, so you got to get them cooking on it too, showing them how easy it is. And it doesn't mess up your kitchen to be cooking outside. That's my selling point. We can just go outside and throw it on the grill, have some wine or a few beers or something, and
it's our
it's
time.
Relaxing. That's right. It's our time. It's our time out here in the smoke.
I think my route has been, I've noticed I need to try to get, if I'm bringing my kids into it. So it's like, well, no, I think our son wants to get a side box smoker. He wants to start doing it because he's been doing a little bit on the grill and the big green egg. So maybe if I can get him to be like, I want it. Because she'll give in to him. She won't give in to me.
There you go. And, that's an important thing to me, bringing up the young ones and showing them, how to barbecue. I mean, I know I've done it with my son, and he gets really into it, and even doing some of the competition stuff, but it's teaching them something that's a skill they'll have for life.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they can share with other people. So I think that's important, getting kids involved.
Oh, definitely. It's an experience that I wish I would have had. My family wasn't big into barbecue, into cooking all that much, but being able to share it with my kids, is something that is special. I think I have a picture of all of my kids when they're right about 1 year, just gnawing on a rib bone. And it's something like, for some reason I took it with my first son, and then every other one, like if I could just get them started on ribs, and meat on a bone. And so now, they all love ribs. And so I think I'm getting them slowly coming in. I think I'm still waiting to see my youngest daughter. She'll be 3 in September. So we're still waiting on her to try to see where she is in the personality, but I'm hoping that she's going to be the daddy's girl that really likes to be around the grill. Since she'll be the one with me the longest, since all the other kids will grow up and leave me quick. I'm hoping to get her into the BBQ world, just to have a little buddy out there,
Oh man, yeah, you can't beat it. That's for sure. So you mentioned earlier you like injections. Do you have any other plans for making some, maybe your own line of injections or rubs or anything like that?
Oh, definitely. That's kind of one of those things where I would love to put all this together and come up with a whole line, whole big umbrella of things. It's been slow going a little bit. I have a couple of rubs that I like to use myself that I mix up. It would be great to be able to put those under the label too. The new manufacturer that we found is able to do dry stuff as well. So, hopefully down the line, 74 BBQ is going to have, we'll have the sauces, the rubs, everything that anybody would want to complete their barbecue.
Man, that's exciting too. I know, when we first started developing our stuff, I mean, you don't really know if people are going to like it. You
hope they do.
You really hope they do. But it's a lot of fun just going through and testing out and developing new flavors and spreading them out to people and getting them to try them and give you feedback. That was what it was, exciting to me for a lot of it.
I think the hardest part is everybody you give it to try is usually a friend or somebody you're close with, and they're scared to death they're going to hurt your feelings. I'm like, no, I'm finna spend some money. I want you to be honest. Is it good or is it not? What do you like?
That's right.
So finding a good crowd.
That was my big fear when we were starting this whole process out. And I said, I make my own sauce. And my partner was like, well, is it any good? And I was like, I love it. And my wife loves it. And anyone I've served it to seems to enjoy it. But then he was like, well, yeah, but have you ever given it to somebody and not told them what it was and just see their reaction? I was like, no. He goes, well, of course, you idiot. They're sitting right in front of you. They're going to tell you it tastes good. They're not going to tell you it's terrible right in front of your face. I was like, oh, crap. All right. So he was like, make me up a batch and I'll take it around and blind taste test with other people and we'll get some real feedback on it. And I was like, that's a good point, because when you're sitting at a barbecue and you get all your friends and family around, it might not be like, I know I like it. So I know it's at least, you can at least eat it. But if someone's looking at me and like, oh yeah, this thing's good, Nick. Yeah, keep serving it up for me. And like, oh shoot. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh crap, maybe it isn't good.
So do you have a favorite? Now I know Jersey's not known for barbecue, but do you have a favorite spot up there where that you would go if you're not going to eat your own cooking?
Yeah, we have a couple of spots. And it is difficult here in the Garden State. We're not known for our barbecue. But we have one local spot here in town that does a fantastic job. They're a small company. They started out doing mainly catering, but then have switched over and now have a little restaurant. And they do some really good barbecue. And it's fun. They do a bunch of community stuff too. They've hosted a couple of barbecue competitions, and it's been fun seeing them grow because we don't have a lot of really good barbecue around here. So if there is a spot, it seems to grow quickly, and they do a great job.
Yeah, well, I know you've met a couple of my friends up there at the block party, because I mentioned to my buddy the Barbecue Ninja that you were going to be on the podcast this week. He said, "Man, you ain't gonna believe this. I got a picture with Nick. He was hanging out at the block party there in the Big Apple." So that was cool. Mm-hmm. I said, well, that's a small world. He's going to be on the podcast.
That's a cool event where they did, and it's been a couple of years, unfortunately. The kids get older and they get a bunch of activities. But I remember when I went to it, it was a really cool event. Having all these people come around. You're in the New York City, but you have barbecue from all over the country, and all in one little area. And oh man, some of that stuff was fantastic. We were trying, so many different styles and so many great chefs working on it. It was fantastic.
That's one event that I hope comes back. I know, they kind of had moved it around or something, lost the location, then the pandemic came and things got kind of messed up. But I do hope that one comes back because I never got the chance to go to it. That's one that's in my,
Malcolm's shop to the Big Apple.
To the Big Apple. Well, hey, Nick, I know we've talked about your sauces and all the things upcoming. We really hadn't told anybody where they can get your stuff, man. So if anybody wants to try your sauces, what's the best way to find you where they can get some of it?
So, unfortunately, we're not national yet as far as retail stores, but we are online pretty solidly. So if you go to 74bbq.com, you can, and it's spelled out 74bbq. You can buy it there. You can also get it on Amazon, which is pretty cool. That just opened up about 2 months ago. We finally broke into Amazon, so you can go to Amazon, search 74BBQ, and it's right there ready for you. So you can buy it online, which I know is tricky in the sauce world because shipping is killer. But hopefully, as we continue to grow, here in New Jersey, we have locations which you can see on 74bbq.com. You can find it which locations, but we have spots in New Jersey, Connecticut, and New York, where you can go into a store and buy it, and one store in Ohio as well. So we're starting to spread out, which is pretty neat. We just need to get, hopefully, with the Amazon going well, we can maybe leverage that and get into some Walmarts and stuff and try to get it, a little bit more nationally.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, wish you all the luck in that. I got to get some down here to try too. And
it's in the cart. Don't worry.
You've already Mark's on there buying it right now. So good deal. We'll we'll put all that out on our social channels too, where they can find you. So hopefully people will order some of your sauce up, help you support your charity, and then man, we hope wish you well. Is there any other place? I know you got an Instagram. You want to tell folks where they can find you besides the 74bbq.com?
Yeah, 74bbq.com for that. I'm on Twitter at Nick Mangold, and Instagram, which I think is real Nick Mangold, because for some reason someone took Nick Mangold as a fake account, which is weird. But Facebook and not Facebook. I got rid of that a while ago. But Twitter and Instagram, Nick Mangold. I'm on there, as much as anybody with 4 kids can be, and so it's a quick way to hit me up, and if you got any questions, comments, concerns, or if you just want to say hi.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, hey, y'all reach out to Nick and give him a follow, and I know you do a podcast as well. Is that all Jets talk, or do you work some barbecue in there?
I try to get a bunch of barbecue in anywhere I can, and that's where the Jets have been fantastic. They let me. I do a bunch of work for them, creative wise and content wise, but they let me kind of go where I want. And so I've been able to do a bunch of different tailgating series, a bunch of different grilling series that have been a lot of fun.
Well, man, Nick, it was a pleasure meeting you. Thanks for joining us here at HowtoBBQRight Podcast, and we'll have to catch back up sometime, man.
Yeah, I'll, if I'm making my way down there, I'll hit you up. It would be great to have a reasonable guide showing me around, the good spots to go.
Hey, we can do that, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Nick Mangold, and check him out, 74bbq.com. Mark, Nick's got it going on, man.
Man, I never would even think about getting barbecue in New Jersey, but hey.
That's right. Hey, I mean, it just goes to show you barbecue is everywhere.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of these NFL players get into it. We've been Tyler. I think we've been taught to several. We got a couple more lined up to
about 4 or 5 people consistently talking to us. So
yeah, that's awesome. That's NFL players that are getting into barbecue.
I think
maybe they saw Bo Jackson do it. Remember where were we at with it?
World Food?
The World Foods. Bo Jackson was there and had a big thing.
Who was it? Waylon who was it got so excited? Somebody was like pumped, and I can't remember if it was you, Waylon, or Jay.
Waylon. It's probably Waylon. I don't know. I've never been I mean, Bo Jackson's great. He's an Auburn guy.
But no, it's kind of neat. Like, I mean, I like watching football. I'm not really no football genius or nothing, but it's kind of funny. You either get people to come to your house to watch the football and eat good barbecue, or they come to eat good barbecue and just happen to watch football.
Right.
One of the two.
No, I'm a football fan. I love it. Y'all may not know this, but Nick was badass. he was all pro. I mean, he's a giant dude. He may not have looked that big on the Zoom on the video, but man, in real life, he's like 6'4", was in his prime.
You ain't gonna take a rib from him.
Was like prime over 300 pounds. He's a big joker now, so don't think he wasn't bad to the bone. But yeah, wish him all the best luck. I'm looking forward. Did you really order some?
Yeah, no, I got it. Went to Amazon, got a bottle of regular and a bottle of spicy.
Cool. Yeah, we're gonna have to try that. I can't wait. So, what do we got coming up? We got some more out the smokes that we're working on.
Yeah,
we're gonna film some next week too, right?
Yes.
Tyler,
what day are we filming, Tyler?
We're doing that Wednesday.
Wednesday, good. If it don't rain, we're gonna hopefully do the Cowboy Washer review and do the Bull Boss review on how that thing works. We've got some.
Really, we just want to cook crawfish.
One
more good time.
Get another crawfish cook in. We got some other ideas. We need to show people how we do like just a regular old maintenance on our pellet grills, like stuff you should be doing after you do a couple cooks.
Yeah,
just vacuuming them out, cleaning out the grease, all that stuff.
Can I bring mine up here and let you do it? That's what we're gonna do.
I'm counting on you this one, Mark.
You're gonna point.
Yeah.
Oh, bird dog.
But and then we'll probably. I kind of had the idea. Let's calibrate some thermometers because I always need to know if the thermometers are good.
I mean, that's a big thing. If you watch a lot of these like Facebook pages and stuff like that, guys like, well, my ribs took 2 hours longer this time, or vice versa, or my grill's cooking way hotter than it should.
I tempt them. It's this.
Yeah, and especially on a pellet grill, like you let soot build up on that probe.
Oh yeah, you don't realize.
You're not realize
I need to clean that probe off, especially on a pellet grill, because you need to take it. I'm not talking about like take sandpaper and
just keep it clean.
You got to keep it clean.
That really soot builds up. I mean, it's affecting what it's truly reading. It's just like insulation,
And it's never bad to put something in there and test them. I don't know if you can calibrate those, but they can go bad. So it's always good to know your equipment. So I kind of thought we might do that and out the smoke. We've also got that rib practice you talked about coming up. We're going to work on that a couple of times. We've got load in for Memphis in May. May the
2 weeks
8th, I think. So that's not far off. Not far off at all.
The next 4 weeks going to be busy.
Yeah, super busy. But that's it's fixing to get exciting.
I'm ready to cook.
May is barbecue month. We're doing our Malcom and May promotion, right, Tyler? We've got a live stream coming up next week. We've got
who's going to be on that live stream, Malcolm?
That was going to be the barbecue ninja.
Craig.
He's coming in. Craig Verhaga. He's coming back to do the live stream. So we're going to drink probably some Miller Lights and I don't know. We might have to bring margarita. It's getting close to Cinco de Mayo. Man, there's a lot of great stuff happens in May.
We got a margarita contest.
Month, Cinco de Mayo. We got a margarita contest at the office.
Test that margarita recipe.
Yeah, we've got Memphis in May. I'm going back to Jamaica at the end of the month. It's just May is shaping up.
Looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's
my birthday's in May.
The month of George. It's the month of Malcolm. That's what it's going to be. But I'm excited. It'll be a lot of fun. We're going to keep doing some podcasts. Hopefully, Shell will be back next week.
Oh yeah.
I have missed her today, Mark.
I mean
you're great and all, but
I ain't playing footsie with you under the table or nothing like that. Right. So
I ain't got anybody to reel me back in.
I can't look at you and smile and say, "Oh, Mal."
But Tyler, is there anything else that we had on the list that we need to talk about that we have missed or overlooked?
I think that's about it, man. Can you tell me where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find.
Can you do this?
HowtoBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We've got an app. If you don't know about the app, it's on the Apple Store and on the Google Play Store. It's HowtoBBQRight, and it's going to give you a link to all the stuff we're putting out. You can get the videos on there, get the blog post, you can get to listen to the podcast, and you can get to the shop if there's anything you need. And
and you can find Shell at Miss Southern Shell at Instagram.
Where can they find you at, Mark?
There we go. You can find us at SwineLifeBBQ on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Twitter, not so much, but And we do have a TikTok. We hadn't done anything yet, but it's on the way.
Okay.
Might have to bust out old barbecue boomhauer on.
Boomhauer barbecue on TikTok. Give me a little sample of what that's going to sound like.
I can't turn that loose yet.
Top secret.
Yeah,
top secret. Well, that's about it. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us today, and we're gone.